What's up, nerds? We're back again. It is August 18th at 6:12, the 12th year of Sander here in sunny, hot as balls, Vancouver. And it is my pleasure to bring you guys, as always, with my co-host here, MJ.
Yes.
Episode 38.
38. So excited for this one. It's going to be a good one. I've been waiting for another episode. We had a great time with Wyatt and super excited to introduce the guest for episode 38. It's another Slayer.
Another Slayer.
And let's just cut to the chase, everyone. Jake Fish, Master
Fish.
Hello,
Master
everybody.
Fish.
What's up, nerds? Thank you. What's up,
Is
Rob?
here.
What's up, MJ? Thank
Yes,
you for
yes.
having me.
Hells yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
thanks
Thanks for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure is all mine, boys. Trust me, the pleasure is all mine.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bud. It's like we were kind of chatting away a little bit before getting this shit all figured out. And as you said, like, you've heard your name on here a couple times, I'm sure, everybody who's listened to it has probably heard mention of who the fuck is this Fish guy? So now we get to hear from the other side of all these stories.
From the fish's mouth.
Yeah,
Let's
straight
hear
from
it.
the fish's mouth.
There was a time when I was more well known for my kendama play and not my antics, but those were days of the past, I think, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
also my undoing. But I think that, my thing is like, I'm already getting into it. The thing is, I feel like I only ever do things to myself. Like, I'm destructive to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I did try and tackle you that one time, Rod, but you also
buddy, I made you pay
rug
for
burn.
it.
Yeah, you gave me a rug burn like right after. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's pretty. I don't know. I just want to actually. I would like to take this time.
Oh shit.
I'd like to apologize if I have ever done anything to anybody when I did not mean to. I did not mean it. Please come talk to me at a different time, and I promise I'm all smiles.
It's true.
Yeah. So
So
that out of the way.
Well, let's try to dissect this. I mean, how are you doing things that you are now sorry about?
I think it all starts with Fish being a frat boy.
Ah.
That started. I can also say that's probably when like my content production started slightly declining. It was right around the time I got back to college, and I ended up joining a fraternity, which in the kendama community is a needle in a haystack, apparently.
Oh, come on, dude. Sweets.
I quickly found out.
Come on. Sweets got his nickname, Sweets,
See,
from his fraternity.
There are a few of us. We are few and far in between. I'm really probably the only one that's like kind of like repped it outside, like outwardly like that.
Yeah, you have the persona, the frat boy Fish persona, buddy. It's
like that's what's always like geeked me out is because like in kendama, like I guess I am that person, but like here with my friends, like I'm the little like kind of grimy, kind of like that's my role here. So
Plays with just a fucking ball and cup. That was the only difference.
Yeah,
with the frats.
It's just different. But like I think each party, like for the community, had equal parts in making the thing that I do sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what makes us who we are, right? The environment,
Absolutely.
the people that you grow up with. There is, but Fish, you weren't like this all the time. I think there's a lot of influence from the fraternity, of course, that has played its hand, and there's a lot of influence from the devil's bottle of alcohol that can,
devil's bottle.
can also play a heavy hand with some of this stuff. But you grew up as a sweet old child. I remember watching the old edits.
I grew up in the community, which is, I'm in a weird situation that it's kind of unique, kind of not. There are a few people like me, but I've been playing for a very long time in relative to like how old I am, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I started when I was like 13 or 14, and like I'm turning 23 in a couple months, so it's 10. It'll be 10. I think it is my 10-year playing anniversary sometime next year. And so like it's been like a ginormous chunk of my life now, and it's weird because I feel really old, but I'm only 22.
Yeah, dude.
So,
That's still baby.
Yeah, I went through all through high school. I've gone through the majority of college, all with kendama. And so like I'm in a unique situation with the Gallagher's, Brandon Meyer. There's just a handful of people off the top of my head, but like they're in a very similar situation. Like you look at the Gallagher's and like Dylan Westmoreland's old clips, like we watched these kids grow up. Like Dama, like I'm not even talking about the Japanese kids.
True.
Soma,
I mean, that's
Nobu, Tomoki. Like you see those pictures of Tomoki and the KenCo Pro team from 2014. Tomoki is
so
big.
tiny.
You can fit him in your pocket. Like,
dude,
like,
Fukushima, dude. That kid the first year at Catch and Flow, he was like this chubby little kid.
Exactly.
And then like now he's like this skinny tall dude.
He's in college, I think now.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's like it's crazy because like I and people ask me all the time, like, what would you be doing like if you weren't playing Dama? And like I cannot form any real idea because like it has been a part of my life for that long.
Yeah.
And so it's really just hard for me even to picture that.
Just think about the friends that you started to play kendama with back in the day in Kentucky and whatever rural place you grew up. And then what are they doing now?
So
you'd be doing what they're doing.
I do want to defend Kentucky a hair. Where I grew up in Kentucky is really just suburban Cincinnati. So every time someone hears Kentucky, I know what they picture in their head.
Yeah, dude.
That's not it.
Open fields, fucking prairie dogs. You gotta watch out for the skunks at night. Like
I'm a suburban raised kid through and through, and
Damn.
So I do want to say I'm not from that. I mean, it's not
okay because
I do. That is the normal. I say, oh, I'm from Kentucky. They're like, oh, God, really? Like, it's almost like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just like, it's not that bad. Like, it's not that bad.
Kentucky, you do rep it. It's in your Instagram handle.
Oh, yeah. It's in most of like, like, Kentucky's, like, I'm obviously the amount of Kentucky players that it's me and Chad.
Yeah.
That's it. Actually, that's not true. There are more. There are a handful more. Wes, I believe Wes lives in Kentucky, and
what is Alex Mitchell? Is not from down there? Is he?
He is. He's from this. I think he's Georgia Georgia or Alabama. One of the two.
I'm horrible with American geography. I don't know a damn thing.
And that's the thing. Like even in like the southern states in general, like it's always been a more spread out like vibe.
Where the
because it's a not as densely populated areas like there's California, there's Washington places.
Right. That's why the whole image when you say Kentucky is the same with everyone, just like wide open fields,
exactly,
drop for miles, like
So like, but the thing is, like my area was one of the first areas like in the States to like get kendamas because a kid that went to a high school near me went to a Woodward skating camp.
Hells yeah. I went to Woodward once.
He actually has this commercial thing that he filmed on a golf course near my house. Yeah. It was one of like the original like huge kendama, like poorly made promos from like 2011.
Ooh.
It has a bunch of views. I'll try and find the link and send it to you. That could be a homework.
Nice.
And this dude brought kendama to my area in late summer 2011, and so if you were to raid the houses of a bunch of the like in my area, you will find so many OG Uzoras, light blue, dark blue, and red for the most part. They had stopped selling green and pink a couple months prior. Yeah, and a very little known shape. You will find hundreds of premier lines from Kendama USA. You have to be extremely OG to remember premier. I showed Bray. He was at my house once. I had to show him what his first premier line because he had never heard of it. Like, most people don't even know what they are. Like,
yeah, no, I don't know. It's before they got the metal rod
tribute. No, it was their first attempt.
Yeah.
It was what the first pro models that they made were on. Those yellow.
I was gonna say purple and teal.
Yeah.
Those
mods were on the premier shape, and then they made a whole line. And like everyone was just so hyped because they could get stripes on kendamas now, and like, so there are hundreds of those around. I have like a Turner Premier Pro at my house.
Dude, that one was a good one. The purple. I always liked Turner's. I've always been a fan of purple though. I had a poster actually. Remember the poster that they had for that Premier line of the fucking Luke Evans actually from Grip Kendama was the photographer for those. Fun fact. And it was like the yellow Colin Dama was like on a lemon, and then the purple Turner Thorn model was in a Crown Royal bag, and then the Seafoam Tealy
ice cream
Yord one was mint chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
Dude, that whole era of kendama is my favorite era of kendama.
Oh, it was like, so hype back then. It was just like, hell yeah.
It was
everything was just so new.
Yeah,
exactly.
Discovering a new planet, a new fucking civilization, and figuring out the tools that they use, and you're just like, what? You just want to go deeper and deeper.
I think KUSA had their 2011 pro contest that Smith ended up winning shortly after the Premier lines came out.
Yeah, it wasn't super long after.
Yeah, I think it was only a couple of months, if that. And I remember like watching, because my friends and I had just discovered Wenatchee Kendama team, and we like, when I tell you guys, I used to absolutely fanboy like Turner and all of them. Like my friends and I would sit on Facebook and like we would send Turner a message like, hey, and then like he'd respond because like he's a normal person. we were just like, hey, what's up, man? And then like he'd respond and we'd be like, dude, that's not him. Like that's his manager for sure. Like dude, he's so sick. Like he's a pro. Like he doesn't message like us. And like, dude, I used to hit up like Ballard all the time. Like all the I feel so bad. I used to hound them.
That's so funny.
How old you were? What, like 14 at this time?
Too old to be doing that.
But no, there were still people that you looked up to in this game, in this thing that you were, getting passionate about.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can like WKT a lot. Like, I mean, actually, a good, interesting tidbit from this point in time is my Facebook, because at the time, like the entire kendama community seemed to like congregate on Facebook. This was the time when, like, if you released an edit, you were copying and pasting it on people's timelines. Check it out, man. Like, there were like TJ, like kendama pages, and like KUSA, and like pro players with, and that's what you did back then. And it's just so different.
Yeah, no, the way that everyone socializes outside of just hanging out with each other, which is a big deal now, it was totally online, and then just the tools that we had, right? Everyone was on fucking MySpace at the beginning. Probably MySpace is probably maybe before you could jump on that. It was
before my time. Yeah,
I
wasn't on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I do remember.
We went Facebook.
Dude, there's juggling.tv, man. The Voids shit. Was that what you were gonna say, Fish?
No, I got blocked by Colin Sander and Jeremy Stevenson on Facebook when I was like 14 because I got hacked by like a raspberry supplement page or something. And like it just blew up one of their and it was just immediate block. And so I didn't hear, like, the first time I met Colin, I didn't think he knew who I was because I was blocked still. And then he's like, oh, what's up, man? I was like, oh, so you did? All right, cool. What's up, man? Like, yeah. So sorry, go off track.
Oh man,
Raspberry, Raspberry promotions.
Big on those diet supplements, man. You know me, Rod. Eating healthy always.
Always. Yeah, Keystone in one hand and a vape in the other.
Shit.
Staying healthy.
If I'm in Japan, it's an energy. It's a real gold. Definitely.
Yeah, you're right.
Ooh. A real gold is in my pocket.
You're right. That's funny, actually, man. I was lurking your like Instagram and like going back into some old Jake Fischer kendama on YouTube stuff. And like we were just talking about you like idolizing WKT and shit. And the first video I found, you're wearing a WKT shirt. That's what it's all about. And then like actually one of the pictures, like one of the that I saw that I stuck out in my mind only because you just said it, is you holding a fucking real gold in Japan. So it's
dude. I am always strapped with those. And the interesting about the WKT shirt is that's the only kendama shirt I have bought ever in my life. And I was I saw them release it, and I was just such a fan. I was like, dude, when Count Me In and Where We Are, or like when Where We Are came out, I was so hyped. My parents were supposed to take me to the 2013 Dama Fest.
Yeah.
They were supposed to drive me down for that. I ended up like bailing at the last minute, and I only wanted to go to like.
Man, I would have met you.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was going to try and get sponsored by KenCo. Like that was what I wanted to do, and it was to meet everybody. But
yeah, I wish you had made it, dude. That was the first time I met most people.
Dude, I had to wait.
Yeah, that was a big event.
Mm-hmm. That was a crazy,
such a legendary
time,
event, dude. Like
so legend. That was the first time the Chromies came.
Ooh, yeah,
like
right.
Across, and they set up. Everyone's just like, "Chrome Kendama, this is some new
Right,
shit." And it's just
what?
like Torkild and Philip and Matthias, and they're just
Yeah.
like the dopest dudes. And
Right,
Do you remember
fucking
when that
pizza
was?
tossing everyone.
It was around the time of the grip entries. And do you remember when TK released his grip entry and it just absolutely tore everybody apart? I remember getting on Facebook and seeing like, you knew it was a good edit when like the first thing on your timeline was like, so-and-so and X amount of people, others have shared this link.
Yeah, it'd be like a big list of
I got on and it was like Max Norcross and 47 other people have shared this link. And I was like, and that was like TK's like at least for me, I thought he was way younger than he was too.
Mm.
And he came out and smacked everybody. And then the KG Roots tour, Dama Fest, like, dude, seeing those events happen made me want to get sponsored and travel. Those edits alone made me want to do it.
Dude, yeah.
So then from the beginning, you were mentioning that KenCo was your choice. That's the one that you were aiming for.
So I have the reasoning for that. KenCo Amateur Nights are another very old thing that probably very few people are going to remember.
I remember those.
Yeah, if you guys want to check it out, go on Fish's YouTube channel.
I have quite a few YouTube channel videos of them still up. I look like a fetus, and I filmed it with a toaster. And I straight up filmed it with a toaster. So watch at your own risk.
Yes.
Fetus Fish.
I look ridiculous. I don't know why my mom let me leave the house like I did, but so just if you can get past that, you can see what those videos are. So
dude, that's so funny.
The reason I liked Kendama is because I had entered a couple of those, and Lex Ullman actually reached out to me on Facebook and was like, "Hey man, like I saw you been entering them. Like you've been so close on a couple of them. Just like keep trying. And I'm sure to like." And that was like the coolest thing. I mean, I was like, "Oh my god, like an owner just reached out. Like that's awesome. Like at least I have something to work with now. Like." There's something there, I guess.
Yeah. There's a connection that's happened.
Yeah, exactly. You sparked it.
Yeah.
And then the amateur nights went on for a while, and I never really ended up doing that well and on them, but like got my name out there consistently and like yada yada. And at the time, if you watch those edits, all of my lunars are all over my hand. Like I'm not kidding. Like, dude, like you can go back and I leave them up. Like just they're hard to history. They're part of like what I did.
Yeah.
Like I can't act like it didn't happen. Like I was a shyster. Like I was a shyster. Like I was like I just wanted to be thought of as good. That was all that mattered to me. And then so like I was just like, yeah, I can cheat these tricks as long as these people think I did it, which is so whack.
Whoa.
Which is so whack.
That is pretty whack. But I mean, you were still growing up, you know, we're all shitty little kids trying to stand out, be the cool kid when we grow up.
And so Jimmy Jacobson is a name that's going to shock a memory that most people aren't even going to realize they have. He was like, at the time, Jimmy Jacobson was like the young, like killer. Like, I think every company was like looking at him to like sponsor. Like he just put out high quality content, and the kid ripped, especially for at the time. And he always won amateur nights. And I remember he filmed. It was for Lunars, and Jimmy got first. And it was mentioned that it was because of how clean his shit was. And I remember someone else I think it might have been Drew Sanger, was doing like way harder tricks, but they weren't necessarily quite as clean. A few of them weren't quite as clean, and Jimmy won. And so like at that point, I just wanted to win. So I was like, okay, that's what I have to do to win. Go clean. And literally, so amateur nights are the reason I stopped being a shiesty kid and learned that that's not tight to do that.
Nice.
Yeah. There you go. That's good that you figured out on your own instead of someone literally having to
Smack the Dama out of your hand like that
Yeah.
Batman meme.
Yo.
No.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It didn't get fixed for the right reasons, but it did get fixed per
It
se.
did get fixed. Yeah. I mean, yeah, with the potato quality of your videos back in the day, it is
like who could tell?
It could be,
like,
it's pretty easy. I noticed that it starts off with edit 2. Is edit 1 on Facebook?
Okay,
Where's,
edit 1 I think is out there somewhere, and that was made. I might actually be able to find that. That was made within my first month or 2 of playing kendama. I think I used Kanye West, "I'm Amazing," because
and that's probably why it's not there.
Sweet. No, I'm pretty sure I saw it the other day. That's the problem.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the issue.
I was thinking maybe you got to take it down because of the song.
No, I don't think that's okay.
But in any case, anyway, guys, if you go search this stuff, it is.
Yeah,
very,
I did find
very
it. I will
low
send
quality.
I will send you the link to it right now. Oh my goodness!
As bad a quality as my first edit,
But maybe no.
Mine's pretty fucking bad.
It's the same.
Probably the same because everyone was using like shitty ass cameras back then.
Mine, I had
Everyone
to
was,
like
2 megapixel cameras.
Yeah, actually.
You
I
know?
also had to
Most
transfer
sketch
mine, and it got all fucked up while transferring it, and I didn't know how to fix it, so I just put it out. So it has all these
Nice.
lines in it and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
Dude, when I used to edit my own stuff, if like there was like a glitch during exporting, I would just be like, I can't. That's not.
Yeah.
It's Windows Movie Maker is not going to fix that anytime soon.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. Yeah.
So I noticed if you have hard times with some videos or shooting videos, filming, editing, there's a lot of people in the community that are pretty good at that you could reach out and have other people edit your videos. There's plenty of other pros that have like, oh, this person sent or did my edit and stuff.
I encourage anybody, like, make friends through Instagram, make friends through Facebook. My oldest friends in kendama were Brandon Meyer, Cooper Eddy, the Gallaghers. I met them all through Facebook. Like, Cooper Eddy edited my KenCo Pro entry.
Yeah.
He edited that for me, and I think that was the first his own edit that he edited for somebody, and I was so hyped when he sent it. Like, Cooper's my boy. I used to Skype. We used to play Skype Ken all the time. Same with B. Meyer, Miles Gibson. Like, I encourage everybody, make friends with people in the community because they will be your friends for a very long time.
Yeah. And they can help you out. Like in that case of Cooper editing your video. What was that? It was your entry for Spot to be on the KenCo Pro team, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Nice. When you're sitting down, you're on your porch.
Oh God.
Hoodie slightly on, just like you are right now. You know.
Yeah, that interview thing. My like friends still like clip that and like just text it to me randomly, and I look like my mom just placed a bowl on the top of my head and just cut just straight around it. Like, it's just not good.
You look like that, or she did do that?
I look like that.
Okay.
What makes it worse is that like I tried to get it cut like that, and I was like, "This is tight. Like, this is dope." Yeah.
Oh, we've all been there, buddy. If you could see me at that age, you wouldn't. I don't know if there's videos of that.
I've never seen any super young Rod pics.
There was one, I forgot, somebody I think posted just for your birthday that happened, Rod. Someone posted like a picture of you in like 5th grade or something like that.
Oh, the soccer picture?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was
What?
fucking Cyrus. That was on the Rage Quit channel. He fucking
Yes.
all my stuff was in
That's what it
storage in the
was.
shop while I was living in Japan. So I think it was like sticking out of a box or something. And he saw it. He was
There's
like,
like,
"Oh, is that young? Holy shit!" He took a picture.
I would pay anything for that photograph.
Oh man,
we can talk, buddy. I got a few.
I just Rod playing soccer sounds amazing.
Dude,
I bet you'd be pretty good. I bet you'd be pretty good.
Oh, I was pretty good, buddy.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
When I could run that much. Now I fucking one lap around the field and I'm gonna fall over.
I feel you, dude.
Maybe a couple. I could probably get a couple.
Dude, kendama's done more damage to my body than 16 years of playing sports year round did. Like my back, I went to the chiropractor last week. My back looks like a wet noodle. Like it's my I have like 3 conditions going on in my back, and like
a wet noodle.
They're all, I swear, it's all from kendama. Like I pulled it the other weekend. Like
you were telling me that the other day when we were talking.
There's a video.
Up.
There's a video of it, and it looks so. There is on Dylan Westmoreland's like meme page or Finsta page, whatever you want to call it. There is a video of me from the World Cup of 2018. I finished my run, and there are some Japanese homies like trying to find out, and I like stop, and they're trying to find out if I finished or not. And I give them like thumbs up, like yeah, I'm good. And then my back goes into full seizure mode, and I like have to like sit down. Like it's so I look ridiculous while it's happening too, which doesn't help because Bonds clowns on me all the time for it. And like,
fuck. Dude, I guess I don't think it should matter how you look if you're having such hard times with your back. That sounds you're having seizures with that shit. That sounds like super bad, and that's not something you want to mess with, dude. Your spinal cord. You got some slipped discs back there.
It all started in Romania the year before. Like it started when I was 19. Like it's from not. I guess I just need to start stretching. Because
dude, I don't think so. Just being 19 and like stretching is one thing, but you're just playing kendama. You're not like like going to extreme levels of like skating or like your BMX riding or something.
My style of play.
Yeah.
So like I've always been smaller, so I've always had a very up and down, lots of knee bending, very like active style of play, and it's been almost 10 years of it now. And you'll like Wyatt I've talked to him about it. Ben Harold's, I've talked to him about it. Yeah. Like it's a common thing. And so
I've felt it for sure. After a long grind, you get the low back pain.
And so it was like day 8 in Romania of playing like 6 hours a day, probably minimum. My back just seized up in the H2O lot. And I just started having like an attack, and I had to sit down and stretch it out. And it's been happening periodically when I go from the couch to playing.
So there's a lot of times, I'm sure in your life that you've been playing kendama and been bending and, squatting, all that shit. But how many times were you also maybe consuming a little too much and having a little party, tackling other people than Rod, and possibly forgetting about something where you injured yourself?
That is a fair argument, but if it wasn't something that I could also derive like a source of, is that I sit at a desk from 8 to 5 every day as well.
Yeah.
So that compounding, and I notice it most when I start playing and I haven't done a whole lot of other activity during the day. And it is very extensive on your lower back and lumbar muscles, at least if the way I am, because I've always lifted. I was destined for back problems. I lift with my back. Always,
yeah.
That's a choice, right? That's not like a genetic.
Yeah, that's disorder. A choice, but not with me. Then it's either.
No, you're missing my point here, buddy. What's the golden rule in Damas, buddy? In kendama, bend your fucking knees.
Yeah,
I know.
It applies to lifting shit too.
Yeah,
I know. I'm just I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
You will, but you just might not like how you have to figure it out in the end.
Oh man, your back's not gonna like it. Definitely.
Mr. Wet Noodle at 22 over here.
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
You got a real fish spine.
You got wet noodle, wet fish.
See, Josh Grove gave me Tiger's
Tiger Bomb?
Tiger Bomb.
Tiger's
Tiger
blood.
Tiger's
If
blood?
Josh Grove gave you tiger's blood, we got to edit that part out, man. I think that's illegal. Tiger
Disclaimer,
Bomb.
Josh Grove of Sweets Kendamas does not endorse the giving or distribution of any tiger's blood.
Illegal tiger blood. Siberian tiger blood.
Any type of tiger.
But yeah, Josh Grove gave me that stuff, and that stuff's incredible for it.
Yeah, Tiger Bomb's great.
Nice. There's a bunch of different types of those. It's like Tiger Bomb, but they're like sticky patches. And in Japan that you put on like your shoulders or sore spots. So that you might want to look into that next time you're here. Those are good because it like stays on. It's not, and it doesn't stink like Tiger Bomb.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I don't mind the smell of Tiger Bomb, honestly.
I never did either.
Yeah.
It could have been worse, I guess. That's how I always looked at it.
So as long as you like keep it where you want it, that shit's dangerous. Get it near your face.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to happen to me. Like I just
don't wait for it to happen.
Sooner.
Just make sure it doesn't happen,
sure it
buddy.
doesn't happen.
Again, a choice.
Okay, guys, but like, when you have ADHD, like it's not really choices; it's instinct. Like always, like
I mean that's fair,
you've been
but
around me enough.
Yeah, I know you. I know you.
You know my decision-making process is a quick one.
Right.
Yeah, it is quick and absolute.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Act first, think
little
second.
discussion. Little discussion.
Zero discussion. Just like doing this.
Going.
Exactly.
Man, I have some pretty good videos. I might have to throw in the nerd story of you fucking walking in the streets with you and fucking there's pylon and a tire on your head, just stumbling around.
Ooh, yes.
That's a classic fish move. For anybody who didn't know that.
Cone heads.
The cone head. That's a classic fish move.
Yeah.
Usually in the streets of Shibuya. There was one time where you weren't there, you bitched out that year and you couldn't fucking make it. So Bond's cone headed just for you.
I remember that.
Oh.
It was
and
he went out with like the Gallaghers and I was like,
yeah, we were with the Gallaghers.
This is the craziest going out squad I've ever heard in my life. But like I love it. It
was insane.
So what is this? I did actually find one of that on your I guess you have a very funny Instagram account, Fish Moments. And that is there is a clip of you with the cone head, the parking cone for all of our American listeners. If everyone heard Rod say pylon, I thought that's funny because I think that's only what they say in Canada.
Is it really?
Yeah, dude.
It's there. Yeah, that would just be a traffic cone.
Yeah, in the States, in the States, a pylon is what you do at a hardcore show when you're fucking just jumping on everyone.
That's why in that video you hear Bonds call me a cone head right before he slaps it.
Yeah. So how did Conehead get born? Was this annual thing that you can't do? Maybe you're gonna have to do it during Kendama World Cup online.
Oh, dude, yeah. Are you gonna live stream yourself coneheading? That would be amazing. Please do it. It's like Jake Fischer to the stage, come up with the cone, just wasted, fucking do a beer bong.
I'm not even kidding.
Sorry, Tamotsu, fucking roll off.
I'm fairly sure I do have a traffic cone in my car, but that's beside the point. That's beside
or a pylon for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how was it born? Why did this happen? Why did you put it on your head?
You were
looking for a hat. It was a hot day.
It was on the end of our trip. It was the end of the 2018 World Cup. It was the first time we had Finn on a trip with us. Our first time getting to meet Finn Pounds. For y'all that don't know him, follow him on Instagram. Finn Pounds kills it. Chromie boy. First time I met him, it was after Cup, back end of the trip. We were back in Osaka, I believe. And a trip or two before that, Bonds and I had found ourselves on a little escapade and befriended this one bar that we ended up going out with that night and having a great time. So we ended up back there and went out with them. And that's where my recollection gets hazy. And I was informed by the video.
It got hazy because you had a fucking cone on your head.
Yeah.
It makes it hard to see things for sure.
It doesn't help that I'm just like a little guy. So like when I get on my when I try and keep up, it usually spells poor things for me.
Buddy, you do more than keep up. You like to lead the torch. You fucking just huck the torch and run after it.
Somebody has to keep the Co alive. I'm sorry. Somebody has to do it. Like, Kendama Co shaped me into what, like, those guys on that team, Sam Cannon, Daniel Robinson, Chris Bosch, like, that, if you look, like, that team was so incredible. Like, you look at essentially the family branch, or the family tree of those players that used to be on Kendama Co. We still are littered throughout all different companies. I'm pretty sure every major company has
almost every
Co.
company. Like,
yeah.
So
mostly because Matt Rice is involved in like every company. But
Matt Rice, I think actually GT might be the only one that doesn't.
No, because Rice.
Yeah.
I thought, but isn't he technically like
okay. They'd get it on a technicality. Okay.
Lawyered, man.
Lawyered. Shit. I just got lawyered by Fish. Fuck me.
But yeah, dude, like, I don't know. That KenCo team, like, minus the poor ownership, like, that team was the best collection of guys and gals. Like, I couldn't have asked to be a part of a better team. Like, when I was at it, like, those guys were the best. Like, I couldn't have been in a better situation.
Is that one thing that helped you, chase after KenCo, or was it just the video contest that they were doing, so you wanted to take part in that?
It was that Lex, like, was the first like owner or like pro player to like reach out and like show like genuine interest or like kind of encouragement. And then like I felt like at the time that Kendama Co players were like, I guess not at the time, because I got sponsored in the same competition as all those guys, but the Co has always had a very loyal following.
Yeah.
And you knew who was going to be on the Co team pretty much when that competition started. Like, you knew Dan Robinson was going to get one. I knew I was going to get a spot to some degree. I didn't know what kind.
The junior pro.
Then, yeah, I ended up getting junior pro, which
first ever title.
And I actually love that. Some people are like, dude, that's like so, like, I don't know about that. I'm like, dude, I'm the only one. Like, everyone else can say pro shit. I'm the only one that can say junior pro shit. Like,
yeah. How old were you when that was in 2013, right?
So like what, like 16?
When I looked at your Instagram earlier, there was the fucking. I remember it being 2013.
The announcement when you put was 2013.
Yeah. It was like one of the first like 5 or 10 posts on your page, I think.
7 years ago. I think it was it might have been one of the first 2, if not the first one. Was a screenshot of the Zen or the Junior Pro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Matt Rice actually commented on my video one time and was like, "Yo, dude, like, this is so sick, but like you gotta stop saying like Junior Pro shit. Like, it's definitely pro shit." I'm like, "Nah, dude, like I'm just chilling. Like, it's just me out here."
Oh man, that's funny. Speaking of comments, actually, I was looking at your page and there was a really funny comment I wanted to get your comment on said comment. And it was on your free Mugen challenge video.
Okay.
And it was a comment from Zack Blackburn.
Oh God, I knew that name was coming.
What is this?
Yeah. And it goes a little. You have two versions of this here, so I have to scroll down again. Here. And the comment is, "Why are you so cocky and arrogant,
dude?" Okay. Literally, that kid. You have to be an OG of the Facebook Kendama community to remember
Zack Blackburn.
That name, like, it lives in infamy. Like, okay, so do you remember Tara? Okay. I don't even know how to begin to start on this kid, but so he's from Virginia. Like, he started out like just super wanted to get into filming, super nice kid, super active and everything. And then the sponsorship competition happened to get like his squad sponsored, and something ended up happening where like they won, but then like 3 days later he like said he was like leaving, and then started like posting all these definitions of like what professional means is that, and that like no one's really a professional kendama player because no one's getting paid for the services, and just kind of ostracized himself super hard, but like still thought that like he made all these great edits. And then he entered into the Terra, I think it was the 2-year entry.
Yeah.
He entered into the pro. He entered into the pro, but refused to tell anybody who he was sponsored by. On top of all of this. And he's just like, me and him butted heads a few times. And apparently when I was younger, I had another person tell me that in the kendama community too, that I was cocky and arrogant, but like
Isn't that what they're supposed to say in that forum or that page?
Yeah, that is what they kendama is for, is to make you feel like that.
Right?
The context of it was not like homie, like let's jokingly talk shit. It was like wasn't even directed at me or knew I was just seeing it. He was like,
it was about you. Not
why does this
you.
kid remind me of like a white Jordan Vargas? I believe is what the comment said. If people remember,
there's another
Jordan
throwback.
Vargas, yeah, another crazy throwback.
Holy shit!
So I guess I had that vibe when I was younger, but I really tried not to. I can't please everybody.
I mean, I don't think you're cocky and arrogant. Maybe like a little cocky sometimes. Only really arrogant when you're drunk.
Yeah,
not in a bad way. It's kind of a fun little fishy fucking fuck around attitude.
Dude,
see, I don't know.
I was gonna think like if you think about people that grow up in a tough situation or grow up with a certain type of not disability, but something that other people look down upon, it makes you tough a little bit, right? So Fish, you're saying yourself, you're a tiny guy.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's the whole Napoleon syndrome that I think a lot of people have. I have a few people, some friends that are super tiny.
Comes out when
and
I
it's
get
like
super mad.
And then that's when you go off, really right? Mad.
I know, and that's the thing. And most of the time, all I want to happen is that I just want to be left alone. Like that's just it. Like I just want to be. I just like want people to stop like worrying or stop like thinking something's gonna happen. Just like leave. Let me be. Just let me.
You just want your phone and to be left alone. That's step one.
That's a whole different story. Oh man, you want to tell that story?
I'll tell the story. Yeah, I'll tell it. It's pretty funny. So this was another story when we're out after an event in Japan. We were in Tokyo. We were in what's it called? The red light district. Roppongi. Thank you. Roppongi.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
We're in Roppongi. There was a lot of shit went down this
literally
trip,
that entire week.
All of us got.
I could fill an entire damanerds with just that week.
Yeah, for real. With you. But anyway, this story about the phone was I was in this club with everybody, and I didn't know where Fish was at the time. But the bouncer comes to me and he's like, "Hey, your friend is like passed out outside. You got to like deal with him or some shit." And I'm like, "What the fuck? What do you mean?" So I go out there and there's Fish on the fucking stairs, just out like a light. And I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" kind of thing. He wakes up and then he's like, all fucking pissed off, just boom, right at attention. He's like,
"Oh shit,
what? That fucking guy has my phone, man. Those motherfuckers won't give me my phone." He's freaking out, just like, And I'm like, "Yo, dude, chill." And I was like, I'll go inside. I'll find your phone. You just sit right here and wait, kind of thing. You know, whatever. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So I go in there and I'm also drunk and like running. There's a million people in there that we know. It had to be like 4 a.m. at this point.
It was
It was late.
End of a late night.
Yeah, and we fucking I don't even know what happened. I come out. So, I know what happened. But I don't know what happened while I was in the fucking bar. But I come out and I'm like, "I can't find your phone, Fish. Like, I don't know what the hell, man." And he's all fucking pissed. And he's like,
the whole time this is happening, by the way, I'm accusing the bouncer of stealing it.
Yeah.
It's not that just I left it in the club. I am convinced that this man stole it from me.
Yeah.
For no reason. And what Rod comes out and says like he doesn't have it. And I had just bought a white in-package OG Pink Uzora from the Kendama warehouse, like month before it. and I had that Dama out with me. And this club we were at was one of those like below street level ones. So it had like that rough, like concrete, like block, like siding.
Jagged
and so
hell.
Rod tells me that like he doesn't have it, and I get done accusing that bouncer a few more times, and I just like get so far, and I just like overhand huck my brand new mint condition Ojuzora at this concrete, and this splinter came out of the Tama like that long, and like it's great for lean house now, so I guess that's the mess. That's the positive in the situation.
Oh, no.
But
the worst part about the whole thing, though, yeah, no, absolutely.
The worst part, oh shit.
The worst part of it is that
yet.
fucking drunk Rod. I helped Fish home, fucking whatever. Guess what we figured out? We found the phone. The entire time, I don't know how. This is why I said I don't know what happened in that bar, because the phone was in my fucking pocket.
The entire time.
And I have no idea from when. So like it could have been there the entire time before I found Fish.
I'm still convinced the bouncer took it and slipped it back in your pocket. I'm still convinced.
It could be a thing, man.
It could have turned out a lot worse, Fish. You could have been pounded by that bouncer.
Which like that was a different night.
That was 2 days. That was 2 days later.
Jeez.
Rod, were you there for this one?
No, I was not.
I think you had left like the day before.
No, I was I was in Roppongi, but I was like at a different place. You guys went. No, I had left early. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah, because we sat there with Smith and Kristen.
Yes.
And whoever else was there. Because I think Phil and TK were the ones that left early.
Yes.
We had Jared Porter with us.
Yes, we did. I think Craig was with us too.
Craig, yes, he was. Yeah, and that night.
That was a trip to be had, man. Roppongi. For anybody who going to Tokyo, you hear a lot about Roppongi. It's great, but be on your fucking toes, man. It's not like the rest of Japan.
I got $200 stolen from me that trip.
Yeah, I got a couple hundred. Yeah, some shit happens in Roppongi.
Yeah. Now it's not because I can elaborate on that. Roppongi, depending on where you are, there's like a really high class Ginza style, like Saks Fifth Avenue kind of feeling to one part of it. There's one place, Roppongi Hills is a very popular place. But then there's the area where all the nightclubs are, and that night, all those nightclubs are where all the foreigners like to gather. A lot of people from different bases, U.S. bases around the area. There's people who are just traveling, and a bunch of people who just like the club scene. I am super against all that stuff. It's just not my jam. So like, I have plenty of friends who've gone, and I'm like, okay, I pass. I'd rather hang out at like.
Yuka didn't love it either. Yuka was not
about
a big fan either.
Yeah. You guys want to go there? Okay.
No, not there. Not there.
Yeah, I could see it because like. The image of it, it's like if you're a Westerner and you want to get a Japanese girl, like that's where you go. And there's plenty of Japanese girls who know that too, and like that's why they go. So if you're a Japanese girl and you don't want any of that attention per se, Yuka, then you could understand why she's like negative. Absolutely. I don't want to hang out.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That was my first time in Tokyo ever.
Ooh,
my first Tokyo experience was Roppongi, and so like. I wouldn't even say that like that's ever a reason that like we're ever going out. Or I mean, like I can speak for me personally. I've never really had any luck in Japan, if I'm gonna be honest. Like it's just not my thing. It's not really what I'd rather be hanging out with the people I see every 5 months.
Yeah.
Or in some cases in Japan once a year. Like I'd rather be doing. Yeah. I was just told that was the most fun place, and I think that it lived up to its expectations, frankly.
Above and beyond, really.
I don't know why other people go there, but I had a good time there. Rod and I had a great time.
It was. It ended up being a little more spendy than anticipated, but
how many of us were in that like one room Airbnb? Like,
we got that big spot. Even Tomotsu stayed there a night.
Yeah. Oh, Tomotsu. There was that.
And he came out with us. That was that night, wasn't it?
Yeah. No. He came.
No, it was the night.
He had
after,
a business meeting at the end of the week and came through.
I just remember carrying you home, like, not carrying you, but helping you along while we're walking and shit, and being in the spot where I was with Tomotsu, but it was a different night. You're right.
Yeah.
Because that was during the cup. That was before cup was over. Tomotsu was still working. He goes in grind mode.
Yeah.
Disappears until it's over, and then he's in party mode.
This is probably pretty consistent through like the community that was there. My favorite Tomotsu moment of all time is him at KWC saying like "turn down for what" at like the ceremony at KWC, and like all the foreigners in the corner were like losing their minds. They're like, yes, like, and I think everyone else just didn't know what was going, like what was said, and we're just like freaking. I love the foreigner area, like not the foreigner area, but like where most of the like people who travel in for KWC hang out at that side of the stage, because the entire time people are just over there yelling and getting so hyped for the stage. Like
it's
that's
like a formal
favorite
ceremony. Everyone's like, oh, like konnichiwa, like bowing the head, and we're all just like, yo, what's up? Like,
There's like the governor, mayor of Hatsukaichi is making an announcement and stuff.
Oh man, nothing's better than that one dude, man. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Who's that guy? I fucking film that every year. I love that.
Yes.
That's like my favorite part of the ceremony. I wait for it.
The Snapchat memories I get every year are the video of the guys from the I forget the name. The ceremony after KBC. I'm forgetting the name of the drink. Sake.
Oh, the sake.
The guys coming in with the sake on the show. Like I had
the sake
there was
barrel.
like a week straight where I got like 3 years ago today, a year ago today, 2 years ago today, of just the same video of like the same chant and then the same
guys,
beat.
and
then they just dip out and then they just leave and we don't see them again.
Man, I fucking want to drink with those guys. I bet you those guys are sick. Me and Fish have been to Japan together like fucking how many times, man? Like
I mean, I feel like you've been in Japan every time I've been.
It's probably true.
And
Rod, you've probably
I've been 7.
Have been
I've
the
been
most
to Japan
time.
7.
Mm-hmm.
You were Bond. If you've been done more.
I've been more than Bonds,
Then definitely. He's the only other person where I'd be like.
I think we were pretty close because he came like a bunch of times, but definitely time wise. I mean, if time wise, MJ wins.
Oh, of course.
I'm not in that pro category though.
Yeah,
did Zach Blackburn teach us nothing?
I'm like,
exactly.
Right? Junior pro.
And that's the thing.
Pro
like,
am. Junior am pro.
That's a huge topic right now. It's like everyone being included. I feel like the pro players, most pro I'm fudging my words. Most pro players are very like extremely welcoming people, and I definitely I want to make a point. Like I encourage anybody go up to the pros you think might be intimidating. Go up to them. They're
just
not.
Say what's up.
Like they're not intimidating. Like
100%.
It always like blows my mind that someone can be intimidated by like me. Like look at my face. Like I'm covered in freckles. I'm 5'6". Like how is like, and so I want to make sure that like that's known. Like please come say hi. Like I love hanging out with them. I love teaching people tricks. Like
hell yeah,
please go ahead. Like I heard Wyatt say something similar on the last one. Like
right.
I just feel like it needs to be said again. Like especially for the people that may have been around for longer. Like you kind of forget that it needs to be said. Like I can say it for myself. Like I probably come across as kind of abrasive sometimes, and like I don't try to ever. So like I want to make sure to say that like if anyone ever wants to say hi, please do. I'd love to talk. So like, I wanted to add that in.
So if you see the Fish, stop him. If you want to give him a high five, give him a hug.
Yeah, dude.
Drop him a line.
Especially at a kendama event, like I'm always I'm so smiley at a kendama event always because I'm just always so happy there. So
Dude,
like,
maybe not always. There's a few times after catch and flow's finished, and I'm like, wait, where'd Fish go?
okay, yeah,
And he
that's fair.
zooms by. Oh,
I mean, yeah, it's until like something bad happens. Then
Okay, in my like at my base, like I grew up, I played sports. I played 3-4 sports a year my entire life.
what do you play?
And then I played basketball growing up, baseball, I dove, I played some lacrosse, I played some flag football.
You dove like competition diving?
I mean, I was like 12. But like that's just like I was into like I loved competition.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I still do. I still think competition is one of the best things in the world because I will swear by it brings out the best in you.
Okay.
I will swear by that for my life. I will die on that hill per se.
Even if you lose, you think it brings the best out in you?
See, no, but it will in the end because you have to use it and learn. You have to experience failure to be able to like build on that.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Like, I feel like there's this wrong idea that like if you fail, like that's it. Like no, like if you fail, like it just shows you
try
what
again.
you did wrong, like what you need to improve on, and like. But that's a side thing. So I grew up playing all those sports year round, and then I was running track and playing soccer up until my senior year, and I quit. And I played soccer is my favorite sport to this day. I play FIFA all the time. I follow it. I follow all the European leagues, international. Like I eat it up. I'm obsessed.
Wow!
And I played my entire life.
Yeah.
And I quit my high school team to go to Japan for the first time. And so for the first time in my life, I had no competition other than kendama. And so for a while, that would come out if I didn't feel that because I held myself to very unrealistic standards at the time. And so it was always, I was mad at myself, not anybody else.
Yeah, right. Of course. Yeah.
And that definitely got lost a few times. Like after the first time I did World Cup, I thought I did so terrible compared to how I ran. I ended up getting 7th, which isn't awful, but not what I wanted. And I ended up like storming off to this back. Rod, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, I already remember, buddy.
MJ, you probably know. It's that back room where Zawa's usually set up, or by where Zawa's usually set up, behind the stage where usually the competitors are hanging out.
Yeah, the green room per se.
That's like it's a very well kept secret. I guess I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. That room is air conditioned, and very few people know that, and very few people AC leaves that room. So I practice in there usually, so I can stay cooler. And I stormed back to that room, and the most hilarious group came to try and calm me down. Brandon Meyer, TJ Kolsnick, and Ocean Mammalias.
Oh, damn.
Like, it's like not a group you would think, but they came to try and calm me down, though. And I just end up like tearing off for it, and I like stomped on my headphones. Like, so like that happens, and it's always been more disappointment in myself than anything.
Yeah,
and I let that come out.
Be angry at,
yeah, and I let that probably come out in not the best ways. And it used to be more angry when I was a kid. When I was younger, I would get more like. There was a year after NKO where I got knocked out, and I thought I blew it. Like I had an opportunity to win, and then I ended up like not finishing through. And I ended up like so I guess they were doing construction on the amusement park next to the stage at MKO. And there was like a construction elevator. And like it was just kind of like tucked away in the corner. And I just took this elevator up to the second floor, but I was in there by myself. And I just lost my mind for like 5 minutes. Like I just like, not like yelling or like acting like a literally insane person, but I was just like, God, like you fucking idiot. Like,
yada,
yada. And then that was the same trip I ended up doing well in freestyle and winning the freestyle tournament.
Okay.
Out of it that same day. Cause I was like, if I can't do well in that, like I got to go hard at this. And like, So
maybe that kind of fueled your flame to really go all out during freestyle.
And that ties back to my competition is good.
Right. There you go. So it's just
how you
deal with the losses.
Yeah.
And the wins.
Yeah, I can appreciate that for sure.
Another thing that I noticed that you do a lot during competition, not sure about when you're just practicing, but what's the secret? Is there a secret behind the no shoes fish? No shoes on stage? So you just like the Japan lifestyle, take your shoes off before you go inside?
I used to be really superstitious. So like if you look back your old pictures, like there were probably like 2 years where every comp day I wore these like board shorts with like flamingos on them. Like, and so I get kind of superstitious like that. And so that year I won MKO freestyle, I knew I was going to do like that TK wraparound, like jump up and kick thing.
Yeah.
And I had screwed it up a couple times with shoes on. And so I lost the shoes to make that easier.
Oh, wow.
And then, so I ended up winning, and I was like, all right, well, looks like I'm never wearing shoes again. Like,
yeah.
As long as you're not like trying to kick the kendama or anything, there's like really no reason to have shoes on to play, right?
Yeah, it's like more comfortable. It's soft. Like
other than like grip, I suppose, and just if you prefer shoes, but
yeah. And then, but I just always felt more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into a whole thing where like if I was wearing shoes up there, someone would ask me about it immediately, and I was like, all right, well, look, yeah, I definitely can't wear shoes anymore.
Yeah. What about my favorite little fish ritual? Something I've always seen you do is right when you get on stage and they're like talking about your name or whatever from Chrome, you'll be sitting there swinging your leg.
Your legs, yeah. That must be a soccer thing, right?
And then you get the other leg swinging.
And that started because I needed to be really stretched out to do that kick.
Because of your back.
Oh, okay. Kick.
It's all the TK kick.
And it just kind of helps me calm down too, just knowing that I'm like stretching out and I'm getting ready. Like it's just kind of
warming up. No, it makes sense. It's a ritual.
I don't really have one of those for like opens kind of.
Man, one of the best open players arguably in history of kendama, Tomoya Mukai. Guy from the JKA, he's won the EKO I don't know, he won it like 3 years in a row for a while. He always wears a red jersey from he's from Wakayama, so like it says Wakayama Cross. Yes, with the red tights.
I know exactly
and the tights underneath,
about.
And he has a red towel. And he that guy is like, I'm talking about rituals, like that is some ritual shit. Like, he has like his little he'll wipe the fucking Tama, he gets his eye blink in there, he has a whole thing. If you like, I'll link a video and throw it because there's so many good videos. He's also an amazing kendama player from way back.
Right. Yeah, super consistent.
It was sick.
That's so amazing. Yeah. Like I remember. I know I'm really poor with names, but I know exactly who you're talking about. I always thought he was so sweet because he had the long sleeves with the running leggings on.
He looked like a football player.
Yeah, it was like that's just so intense. Like it's awesome.
Man. He takes the shit seriously, and I mean it shows. Like he wins a lot of comps and like open style shit, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's so interesting to me to see how kendama in Japan has kind of changed versus and how it stayed the same too, because like you have the side where you have the Gloken inspiration and like the extreme sports, like climactic combos, like that. And you still have
street kendama, they call it.
Exactly. Yeah. And you still have the very traditional.
Dude, the JK. I was gonna say there's definitely two sects of kendama that are like,
and I think they definitely both have their place too.
100%.
Yeah. It's so different because at the beginning, like the JKA was like the producer
standard. They were the shit.
Kendamas. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, Azoras and
they were the only ones. They have been for 40 plus years, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's interesting to see now that like they're branching, or at least they're opening up to new like changes and advances, like with their the shape. The exact name of what they call it, reshape.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like those, like the sticky paint, like
that is not allowed in JKA shit. For the record, I don't think that has anything to do with the JKA. That's the Ozora factory.
I know,
Yeah.
I thought it still
Exactly.
carried the sticker.
And it has the recommended, because it's an
okay.
Azora kendama, so it gets the recommended, same as like a Tayo or an Emperor has a recommended.
I still,
Right.
for some reason, I just
Or the
had the
natural
idea
woods.
that
Yeah.
they like, it just felt more accepted amongst. It felt like them doing that showed that it was becoming like those bigger cups, the figure paint was becoming more accepted in those sects, but I could be wrong.
I mean, the paint, I think a little bit is within the JKA as well. From if I remember correctly, I remember there's like, I mean, they've started doing like premium paints, like they had the premium whites, the premium orange and all that stuff. This is a while ago now, but yeah, the gold, man, that one was like,
the gold was crazy sticky.
Gold,
yeah.
So like they are a little bit on that tip, but it's more like their attitude is what sucks.
Exactly, because I think they pretty much they can't go back on their word. It's like you got to die on your own sword, because that's why they booted Iwata-san. You know, his paint was too sticky. They didn't want to jump on that. They said, no, you got to have this kind of particular paint. But and now the progression of other kendamas, so it's like opening up around the world. They try to fight Sweets about having the lock, the not registration, what is it, trademark of like the shape of the kendama.
It wasn't even the shape, man. It was
just the hole. The string
positioning of the string hole.
But I think that's what also like had like a registered mark for.
That was a part of
the
I'm sure they had multiple clauses, but
like, so much shit. So it's like for them to go fully just open up and be like, all right, sorry, like that's totally not a Japanese.
It's not a Japanese attitude at all.
Yeah. It's like,
I mean, they kind of had to. It was either that or get left behind. Like,
right.
I mean, and that's kind of where they're at now. That's what they're faced with, I think.
Yes. But they still have a core audience in Japan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. People that don't even know about like Gloken and the rest of kendama, really all they know is the JKA and that World of Tricks. Like, I remember going, there's that event, I've talked about it before, where I was with Gloken and we rolled up to a JKA event, and we were sharing this menu and we were just waiting for them to switch, and it was a whole timing and they were late and blah, blah, blah. It was so weird. And then they like kicked out all of the patrons, and like, but some of the people, because they were like, well, you can't watch these guys. It was really weird. But some of the people, like when we first showed up, I was just chilling, playing Dama like normally. And like so many of these people had never seen anything like what I was doing, you know? And I was like, damn, you guys really got to watch the World Cup, man. Cause like,
this is sweet. Like,
you think this is sweet. You got to meet a Gallagher, dude. You're fucking
there's like a million other things. Like it's,
I mean, they're not doing work still. Like they're still trying to spread kendama, and they are, I think,
right.
in their own way, trying to like, kind of like you're saying, MJ, like it's not a Japanese thing to just fully accept like that you were wrong and like be like, yo, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Like that's not something that like is ingrained in their culture. It's more of a proud thing. So like, maybe that's all it is they made a mistake and now they're kind of like, oh fuck, well we just want to be friends, but like we have pride and like
yeah.
Part of me hopes that's what it is, and it's not like an ongoing fucking like, you know,
battle until the end, dude. I don't know, but
strange world of shit, man. But we got a little off topic, but
a little off, but you know, it's still some good talks for, I think, for people who don't know.
It's super nerd. That's
about that. Unless you've been to Japan, unless you've been to some of the JKA competitions and stuff.
I've never been to one of those competitions. All the times I've been to World Cup, I've never been like made time to go to one of those beforehand or afterwards, and I kind of regret it. But I also feel like
it's a good experience. You know,
it's something to be cool to see and do one time maybe. It's always something I should do at some point. It's right up there with getting my Don. I don't know what Don, but a Don. Sometime that would be fulfilling.
You've never done a Don test?
Never done a Don test.
Oh,
I still would like to go to the JK headquarters.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. They got a lot of fun kendamas, actually.
Yeah.
It's like bucket list for my 14-year-old self.
Oh,
like, it's just kendama's changed so much in just the time period that I've been playing. I can't. I
mean, we've been around for most of it, man. Like the big shit. I mean, not most of it, of course, but you know what I'm saying. Like most of the the recent
revolutionary side, like
revolution.
changes,
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, like, you remember how people used to think of like sticky paint? Like, it was like
we used to hate
curse,
on
like,
it so bad. We're like,
Yeah.
wait, you did a lunar? Oh, on what? Oh, on a sour mash?
Oh,
no.
get
no,
out! Like
no.
the
Yeah,
co
that
team.
doesn't. That's like you might as well have thumbed it. You know,
The co
especially the
guys
co dudes.
had-
You guys were fucking.
We had the worst superiority complex about it. Like, I
Yeah.
think D-Ro touched on this a little bit on his, but
Yeah,
in
he did.
his, but like it was really like, dude, we got GERS. Like, we don't know how to use that like straight out of the box. We beat our Damas. Like, and it was
Yeah.
so dumb. And same thing with the string length. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just like everyone has these ideas, and when something new comes along, it's always gets poo-pooed at first, and then everyone
Yeah.
realizes, well,
Actually, it's not
probably
so
for the
bad.
best.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
making
mean,
the
in the-
strings longer.
In the
Yeah.
end, it's
Yeah.
like if you're not in a competition,
What
who
does it
cares
matter?
what you're
Doesn't
doing,
matter,
what kind
yeah.
of paint, how long your string
Yeah.
is.
I mean, look at like
if you lick the
Akimoto with the
bevel-
fucking 100-foot long string off a bridge, or like, you know, like
Exactly.
like stringless kendama. You know, like there's
Yeah.
just so many facets.
Yeah. So it's just everyone, fucking put your pants back on and just relax.
I mean, you don't have to
enjoy-
put your pants on. You can keep
Okay,
them
you
off
can
if
keep
you
them on.
want.
Keep your
Stay
socks-
comfy.
your
You know,
shoes off
if there's
too.
anything to take away from Fish's little spiel,
The-
it's like be comfy, right?
Oh, 100%. And then if you want to do
No shoes on stage.
even the most hard, like, legendary thing I still have yet to see anything remotely this like hardcore, was Rod, you'll probably remember this. MJ, you might remember this. Is when Chris Bosch released his Sweets Round 2 entry. Jeffrey
Oh.
Attiliander. Or no. I think it was Van Reven.
Mm.
Jeffrey Van Reven was going off about how the string length was the reason
Mm.
Bosch could do all these tricks,
Yes,
yada
yes.
yada.
Yeah.
1 week later,
Yes.
Chris
Yeah.
Bosch refilmed all of those tricks with the yellow Zora and held it up with the 2-finger string
Every
length
trick.
flex
Every trick didn't cut.
literally,
the-
I watched that.
That was the biggest flex in the history of
the
kendama
biggest middle
flexes,
finger
like,
I have ever seen. As a, like,
Yes,
that
yes.
video was just, hey, Van Reven, just like
Yeah.
Straight up. I mean, we've mentioned that definitely a few times on past
Yeah,
episodes.
that was a huge moment, man.
Because
Just
that
like-
was- yeah.
was.
It was a real
'Cause-
like show off that string doesn't matter. Like if
I
you're
was old
talented enough,
heads.
you can do these tricks.
Mhm, I was like,
Absolutely.
wow.
And that was like new age button heads with old
Yeah.
old
Yeah,
age.
dude.
Like,
Yeah.
Straight
Van
up.
Reven has like what, 30 million edits on YouTube?
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
he's
He had like
on-
30 edits when we started playing. Like,
Exactly. Like, it's Kendama's crazy. That's pretty much just summing that up.
yes, it is.
And it's gonna get crazier, but
already is, man.
I want yeah. I mean, we've been talking about so much different shit. Let's see. I wanted to touch upon a few things. I know there's a deep connection you mentioned before of people that you grew up with, people in the community that help you out. Fish Chad of Soul Kendama was someone who I heard helped you out a lot, especially when you were a smaller guppy in the
Yes.
pond.
A guppy in
With-
the
Yes. So
He helped you leave your house. I heard I forgot what edit it was
I
that
think it's my pro edit on the
for
Chrome
Chrome,
page.
right? Yeah, that like because he was there, your parents allowed you to go to a kendama event.
Yeah. So like I was a very aware kid. I grew up in a very pretty conservative area, neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I needed, not that I'm glad, like Chad was my first friend in kendama, like ever. Like he's the first person to start hitting me up on YouTube, like, oh, you're a Kentucky guy too. Like Chad was the perfect person to introduce my parents to.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have had the same success introducing my parents to Bonds and then being like, hey, I'm 17, I'm 16. Can you let me fly around the country with these people you've never met? Like,
Right.
like you've traded emails with them twice. Like you trust that, right? Like
yeah.
it wouldn't have worked as well if my parents didn't have the ability to meet Chad in person and actually like talk to him. And so I wasn't allowed to travel. Like I wasn't allowed to fly because prior to kendama, I had been on one flight my entire life.
Yeah.
So like my dad was worried I'd have a layover and get stuck in like New York with no idea how to take care of myself.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
So Chad had to fly with me.
Are you a single child, Jake?
I have a younger sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're and
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because when you said that, I remember it. I'm gonna just straight interject because I laughed and it's the whole thing. That video of who can do the most lunar flips with the fucking
that's
donation
true. That's
thing.
true. Yes.
When you were like outside of your sister's door and your dad, Jake, get away from your sister's door. Dad, you don't understand.
Dude.
And you're just sitting there banging out lunar flips. Oh my God. If you guys have never seen that, you guys gotta watch that. That's another huge moment in
huge
kendama,
moment. Yeah, that was shared around Facebook everywhere.
I tried. That video was buried for so long. When I first recorded that, I wanted to edit all of that audio. I said this in our shotgun interview, MJ.
Yes.
I wanted to edit all of it out, but then I like watched it through to count them all, and I was like, okay, I just gotta post this. Like, I'm not watching that again. Like, it was too long. And it was buried for years. So funny, okay, man. Hannah had been trying to find this video for so long, and like TK wanted it too, and they wanted to like use it for something, and I was like, no, we're not bringing it back. Hannah DMs my ex-girlfriend, and she gets it that way. So that's how that video came back out.
Whoa!
So shout out to Hannah for being the investigator on that one.
Hell yeah. Nice work, Hannah.
Yeah. So you can thank that video is on that Fishy Moments page I don't own that. I do not run that, by the way. That is not me trying to show
like
off
the Both Moments page, the same thing.
Yeah. I think I know who runs the Both one. I have a
pretty good idea too.
But
whoever they are, they're a fucking hero.
Oh, absolutely. They're doing the public a great service.
Yeah, the Rolf one is real good. If you guys haven't seen that one, you're missing out.
I think it's Both Moments.
It is Both.
If you're trying to find it.
With a B,
I think it's Both_moments.
I think the O might be a 0 as well in Both.
Ooh, hey, switching it up.
But either way,
it's hidden.
You'll find it, I'm sure. It's not hard to find that big fucking glistening giant Viking head.
Oh, absolutely not. Like
even more glistening than my head.
Insight into traveling with Rolf, or you want insight to hanging out with Rolf?
Yeah, that's a good
one. Place to start. So let's go back. So Chad, how much of
we are so bad.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
He helped you out a lot. Get out of Kentucky and experience kendama
just
events.
Show my parents that like there are like you can trust, like I trust these people, and like you can trust them, like you can trust your son with them, because that's literally like I think back on it, like I can't believe my dad ever said yeah. Like like really? I was 16 and I was like, yeah, Dad. Like he thought I was lying for like months. Because I was like, yeah, Dad, like they want to fly me to this event. And he'd be like, haha, that's funny. Yeah, they got one for me too. And I was like, haha, I'd rather not go. like I'd like, no, like to this day, my parents have never been to a kendama event. Never been to one.
Do they? Really? Do they acknowledge that like you're sponsored, you're a pro player?
Yeah.
The world champion?
Do they see how expensive you are on the Chrome page?
So they're very proud of everything I've done. They ask
support
me and everything. Very supportive. I just very much like the fact that for a while I could have I essentially had two lives completely separate.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that if like some shit was going on in like my life back at home, a kendama trip was the save all be all. It just an escape from it, and like that's it's a little deeper than probably than I was meaning to go.
But no, it's good. It's good that sheds a lot of light to people that maybe don't know what it's like or who have a similar situation. Connecting with that, I'd like to ask you, since you mentioned how in Kentucky there's really a few and players that are few and far apart. What's your advice for people who don't have anyone to play with? Because I think you're someone who really took advantage of it and just grinded to become the top player that you are now.
what I did, or what kept me playing, honestly, because like for the first 2 years of high school, when I was obsessed with just filming tricks. Like I'd stay in on Fridays and just film in my room for hours and just grinding. Like the Facebook kendama community, I can personally attribute to the reason I'm still playing kendama. I probably wouldn't still be playing if it wasn't for FKC. That was where I met some of my oldest friends, like Brandon Meyer. Like there aren't a whole lot of kids playing that were in my like exactly my age and everything. And B Meyer has been one of my best friends in kendama from the beginning, and we met through Facebook. Yeah. So like, my best advice is take advantage of the communities at your expense. Don't take advantage of them, but you know what I mean? Like,
use the tools.
Branch out. Don't be afraid to talk to new people, because literally these people could become some of the most important parts of your lives. Like Rod, Katie, and I, and like a bunch of people had this conversation in the Sioux Lab in the Sioux Lab shop after Captain Flow. Like when I first started traveling, like everyone that I met, like they were my kendama friends. Like that's how I just kind of thought of them that way. Like they were my friends from kendama. Now, like I have some of my best friends in the world. Like, and it goes so much beyond kendama now.
Hell yeah.
Like, and I can't be more thankful for that. Like, it's awesome. So please take advantage of it. There are amazing people out there. This is like way more like super positive than I usually sound, but like take advantage of it. Like it's awesome. I can't speak highly enough about it.
So do you think some of the motivation that kept you going was just filming? Sounds like it.
When I was younger, I had a drive I wanted to be recognized as good, and I wanted to feel on the same tier as like Bonds and all these other pros, because when I was playing at home, like I had no concept of like the skill level of anyone else. I only saw edits and whatnot. So in my head, I'm like, these people probably never miss. Like they're pros, like probably so amazing. So I just kind of like, that's what I always assumed. And so that's how I played, was just like, for the consistency part. Like, I wanted to be respected as a top level player.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, it's not great, but that was my mindset when I was younger. It's not my mindset anymore. It wasn't my mindset even 4 or 5 years ago when I won, like when I was doing well in competitions. Like that was more younger, but
yeah, I think it can be really tough, like you were saying at the beginning of the show, that it's such a huge chunk of your life. It's been in your life for such a long time that it's pretty much molded you and changed you into who you are. I feel like, people talk about like child stars. There's the Corys of the 80s, when you get into it too early, become famous too early, it turns out it's not good for the kid. Like, I wonder what the future holds for B Meyer and Fish, like when you guys get older.
Like that's the thing. And like there are kids like even younger now, like his name, I'm so terrible.
There's the Sweets, who that Sweets kid is, Jacob?
The original 6-year-old, the original young
the original 6-year-old.
You know who I'm talking about? The one that everyone was obsessed with.
The Japanese?
Not Yasu?
Yes.
No, it was
6.
Oh, I can see his face.
I know his.
He was in my group. He was in my group this year at KWC.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. It's not Maharu. It's the other kid.
Oh,
why am I spacing on his name?
The one from Hiroshima?
Maybe. Yeah, I think.
And he used to wear like, he's all like KenCo. He always had like massive KenCo t-shirt on. Okay, yeah.
Dude,
his name too.
Why can none of us remember his name?
Hold on, I'm pulling up Instagram. But as I can't imagine what it's like for them.
I think it's going to be a different thing, because in Japan, like kendama is a normal everyday thing. Like people know about it. It's not awkward where in the States people are still making fun of it because like, what is that whack ass yo-yo? You know, is that for kids?
Totally.
Oh, Fish found it. His name is
Haruichi. It's Haru. Yeah.
Yeah, so like
that,
like those, and like Nobu and like Soma Kanemoto, like those
dude, yeah,
kids,
Nobu and
like,
Soma, like
actually, like I remember meeting them for the first time at 2015 World Cup. Like that's crazy. That was 5 years ago.
Dude, yeah, the rest of that little Hiroshima squad too, like Hyo and Tani and like all those kids, like they're
crazy
so cool now
yeah.
too. Like I've hung out with them now. It's like a more adult level, almost not quite, but like like I can speak a little Japanese now, and like so we can actually have a conversation. It's fucking cool, man. They're cool kids. And yeah, like when I first met Nobu and Soma, they were like up to my fucking like just above my waist tall.
Yeah,
like they're so, and I'm not a big guy. Like they're so young.
They're like maybe like just out of elementary, like junior high.
Yeah, actually.
There is this picture that Tomoki has on his Instagram, and it's from 2015 World Cup. And it's someone taking a picture from behind, and it's me and Sam Cannon on either side of him, and I'm like reaching to give him a high five, and Tomoki is like to here on me, and like it's just crazy.
And now Tomoki's like a full grown like he speaks perfect English, like
he's always had the most perfectly like well spoken like tone, and like he's always just been. I always thought of him as like the most pure child I'd ever met in my life. He's like so like innocent. So
he's
like,
the chosen one.
Just needs to be protected at all costs.
Oh shit!
Hell
so there you go. So there's a lot of things that you learned by growing up through playing kendama. Had Chad helped you? There's of course the untimely, or maybe it was death of KenCo. That whole roller coaster ride that you experienced.
Timely.
And then jumping onto Crom right after that. Can we get a little insight about that? Were you asked to be on? Did you ask the Crom peeps to sign you up? How'd that work out?
It started at NKR earlier that summer. Co was going through a whole bunch of changes in management to like update everything and like try and push in like a new era, new structure and everything. It was supposed to move in a better direction. So there was all this like excitement about it within like the squad and everything. And so like I had just won the Pro Invitational Freestyle, and I had played TK on my way in like the second round of it or something. And Matt Ballard and TK pulled me aside after, and the preface is Matt Ballard is my favorite kendama player forever, will always be, always has been.
Yeah.
And so I used to hit him up to play Skype Ken so much I annoyed the hell out of him. And so he asked, and they asked me to like join Chrome, and so I say no. The event ends. I call Bonds after the event. I'm like, dude, like the Chrome guys offered me a spot, and he goes, "No way, me too."
Oh shit!
And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like yada yada. Like we can't play like they cannot like the walnut or not the walnut, the deluxe. Like they weren't our favorite.
Right. At the time, yeah, they had the deluxe.
So I was like, I probably won't because like I can't really do a whole lot with the deluxes.
Yeah.
And Bonds calls me like 3 weeks later, and he's like, I'm fucking gone. I got this kendama. Like, I'm done. Like, and it was the first, like one of the first prototypes for a sleigh dog. So Bonds leaves, and everyone knows, like, Bonds and I have always been on the same team together, always travel together. Definitely was a plus him being on Chrome, but like I wasn't the driving force.
Yeah.
To me being on, I'm not going to get into like too crazy details, and just for company's sake. But after Co closed, I didn't reach out really. I was enjoying not being sponsored. I was being contacted by various people to potentially like join them, and I've never had my ego stroked like that in my entire life. That like month,
yeah,
I've never had my ego stroked like that before.
I was about to say that must have been good, because it sounded like when you were growing up, you're making all these videos. You said before that you wanted to be seen as
it was
that high.
And not only that, but you
player.
also placed as the world champion during that time when you were a free agent, right? So it's
and so like that's another really cool part is that I was able to go to Catch and Flow as an unsponsored player because of Gloken.
Yeah.
Because I had done well at the MKO freestyle the year before. And so I got to go for the first time ever, without any like, gotta be playing this Dama, like, or I gotta be doing this, I got to be making content doing that. Like, I loved being unsponsored.
If I remember correctly, you played a Sweets Homegrown at that Catch and Flow, didn't you?
I did. I won.
Yeah, you did.
I won using a walnut stripe.
The walnut stripe, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes,
Oh,
I did.
shit.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I remember that happening. I'm sure that didn't sway Sweets' judging at all.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, absolutely.
I don't think did he even give you the creativity points? Maybe I don't.
No. See, back then it was different.
It was just the 3.
Oh, you're right. It was just the 3, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right.
Flags. Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
And I benefited, I think, from because I've been around for I guess a little longer. Like some of the older Japanese players, like I'm familiar with them. I've messaged them on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. And I think that Sweets told me it worked to my advantage because he voted against me in the semifinals, and he told me that he thinks I got a biased vote to get to the finals.
Ooh.
I'll take it. I don't care. It's a dub. I still got there. It's cool. Like,
who was it in the semifinals that you played?
Ocean.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought I lost too. I thought I lost. I was very surprised.
I remember that was a good match, actually. I remember that.
Yes, that was.
I had a not fun route to because it was Ben Harold's first year and he qualified first. So I had Ben Harold, then Nick Stodd, and I had gone against Stodd in the finals of MKO the previous year. So like everyone's like, "Oh my rematch," and I'm like, "Oh god, that's not gonna be good." And then Ocean, then Wyatt.
Yeah.
And I was hyped because Wyatt and I had a good fight. I would like if you watch Bonds and I's MKO freestyle final. I don't like watching that one from 2016 because I didn't land. Neither of us really landed a whole lot of tricks. Like it wasn't that entertaining for anybody. Like. But that final with Wyatt, like we were both hitting tricks, so it was like a really fun match to be a part of. And like I was really hyped about. Wyatt and I both said something to each other before the match started, like, let's kill this. Like, let's make sure this is not boring to watch.
Yeah, no, I think I remember that now that you mentioned that. Like, you guys just, like, at the end of each other's runs, just, like, fucking slapping, high-fiving each other.
Because that's my boy.
Right on
That's
stage.
the vibe,
Like,
man.
yeah.
I don't care who I'm against on a stage. I'm always fucking like that. That's cause you gotta have fun, you know? There's one thing to be competitive and like you want to win and like push yourself and shit, but that doesn't mean you gotta be a dick and like, you know, like fuck you, man, I'm taking you down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's like kind of one of the coolest things.
There.
Yeah. It's one of the best things about the kendama shit, actually, for me anyway. It's always, especially Catch and Flow, has always been the one. It was like, you know, if I remember several times like making the finals and like going in the back and just being like, yo, we fucking made it, boys. Now let's go put on a show. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, like literally like those words, like what you're saying. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Cause like, it's just like, you want to, when you get up there and you get on that stage, something that you like worked for, you want to feel like you show, like you validated that. Like you want to show that like that was the correct decision.
Yeah. And of course you always want to go out and win, but also just fucking slay with your buddies on stage.
And that's why kendama is such a unique thing. Like it's such a unique thing.
It is.
Like I was able to go to a yo-yo competition in Pittsburgh last year. And I just kind of saw how like yo-yo competitors interact and everything. And it's just it's not the same. Like we're so lucky. Like we're so lucky.
What's different about it? Are they more?
It's just not. It's more focused on the competition and less like these are my homies and I'm stoked to hang out with them. It's like there's this competition and so like I get to see my friends, but there's this competition. But like, and I'd also, if a yo-yo player is secretly a Dama nerd, and I just totally got that wrong. I'm sorry. I was only at one event. That was just what I thought. That was the only thing I saw. So, yeah, it's.
I mean, I went to like the Canadian Nationals the one year they had it here in Vancouver, and we had a little kendama booth. It was at the Science Center, so it was kind of cool. I got to run around the Science Center afterwards. But I thought that kind of the same thing, like the yo-yo. I don't know. Maybe it's just as an outsider watching, it just seemed more of an intense competition rather than like a bunch of homies throwing down, like kind of what you're saying a little bit. And I'm sure they're all homies, and I'm like, but yo-yo also goes further back. It's a little different. It's very different. Like it's had more time to evolve, and like I feel there's like, you know, with all that evolution, there's all these different sects that kind of push away from each other and shit.
Right.
Oh,
maybe I'm catching the wrong vibe, but like I'm sure there's like a little bit of a weirdness to that. I'm sure, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and like that same vibe is why I will always like. No shade to Glowkin, but like the second day of World Cup is my least favorite day of the year every year. I am so stressed out. I smoke so many cigarettes. I never eat enough food. I drink like, so I get on this when I'm practicing. I'm miserable. I'm sweaty. I'm in pain usually, but I'm nervous and I want to make sure that like I practice enough. And so I get on this terrible cycle of like, I'll practice inside, get to a certain level of like sweatiness, non-focused, go outside, drink 2 real gold, smoke 2 cigarettes, and go back in and do it again. And Jesus. I did that for 9 hours straight for like 2. It's just stressful because
that's World too much.
Cup, it's very much too much. But like that's the pressure like I put on myself to like do well in because at that point I have to look at it like Chrome put forth money for me to represent them and get me here. I owe them to not like blow it or to like meet their standards.
Or to not practice at all and just, you know, you want to try.
Oh, you want to try and take it seriously.
Yeah.
And that's totally like understandable.
Right.
Nothing wrong with like
but I also feel like World Cup's the only event where people are flown there to win and to win only, and that's really it. You know what I mean? It's gotten to the point where like
it's international. I think that's a big factor when you're thinking about
it.
Like,
it's the biggest comp.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that just comes with the progression of kendama. Like as competition, like I could get into a whole other thing where I think competition in kendama needs to go, but I don't think we have that much time.
You think competition in kendama has to go?
Like where, like the direction I think it needs to go for it to be like more, like accepted and be taken more legitimately, I should say.
I feel like because in kendama,
I know I'm that too. Because I feel like in kendama, like there's not even like a template for running an event. There's no like guidance and like. I feel like for kendama competitively to be looked at as a legitimate thing, there needs to be some form of not requirements, but like criteria. That's the same word, but just criteria to like meet a certain standard to be counted for, like towards something. Like there'd be like a central governing competition where like in that way. Like that would solve the judge problem, I think, because in that way you can certify judges to where you can have multiple people at an event that can, maybe they only want to judge for part of it. And that way, when you get volunteers, they're not committed to 5 hours of volunteering. If you certify enough people, you can get it down to where
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, only like an hour of the event. And you have that base minimum for what they need to be looking for certain kinds of tricks. Like for stalls, like is it defined if it needs to sit for 3 seconds or how that should be judged? Because I feel like with all these judges and that not having that clearly defined, it's a judgment call every time. And that changes per judge. And I think we've seen that become an issue at a lot of events.
I think the biggest event that's had that issue is Catch and Flow. Catch and Flow has been super vague in what's good and what's not, what's accepted on stage. The only thing that we know is that you have to use it.
You touched on it with like Dio.
Yeah.
The fact that I got like, I'm not mad.
No, 100%.
qualified.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Theo didn't, because the reasoning for it didn't make sense.
No, it didn't.
Because they said difficulty, and the tricks he was trying were much harder than the tricks I was
100%.
trying.
Right.
And that's like where it comes down to judge selection too. Like if you're talking about like vetting people as judges, then like, you know, not that the judges were bad, but it's just different, and how different people like see different things differently.
Exactly.
Right?
And I feel like using those older, like super OG players is great for like check out who's judging, bad for actually judging though, because like if they're
for like finals and shit,
like a Matthias, like an EKC, like in Matthias Steen situation, I do not feel like he should have been a judge at EKC. I thought it was cool having him back at an event, and it was cool to have that name back.
But just because there's so much new shit that
like he doesn't have a concept of how hard a lot of these tricks are.
Yeah, he just hasn't had time to try them and shit because he hasn't been around. He's got like a life. Like, he's got a life outside of Dama. He's got. He's not up to date with it. Right. I see what you're saying.
Then you run into the other problem is like the players that are up to date with it want to be competing, not judging. So then it's just like, how do you find a solution to this?
It's almost like, I almost want to say that someone like Matthias, who has like a base knowledge of kendama and maybe isn't super into like the new shit, would almost have a better view of judging because they'd be like less biased because everything would be new to them, right? So like, that being said, it might offset it in the wrong way too, because then if anybody does some of that new gen shit, then it's going to be like, wow, that's so new.
I think
like
there's a difference though between just being new to them and having never tried.
Yeah,
I think that's the big point.
I think that's a good way to put it, actually, now that you say that.
There's also, though, knowing the player and what they excel at and what's difficult for them. If someone's going out trying something that, you know, that's really not their realm and they actually hit it on stage,
too.
That is big.
But the thing, like, Yo-Yo is able to define that, though, right? Like, Yo-Yo is able to define difficulties to a point. And there are a lot of similarity. And I feel like they have even smaller variations in tricks.
100%.
And they could, like, one small thing can change a trick drastically.
Right.
So I just feel like it just needs to take a group of kendama players, locking them in a room for, like, a
doing
weekend
a fucking battle royale
in the mountains. Like, a week, they just need to, like, we need to lock the mega minds of kendama in a mountain in the woods for a week and just see what comes out. Like, just see what ideas come out of it. Because I think, like, you could solve probably most problems in kendama if you just locked everybody in a room.
Well, like, to be clear, not kendama, but, like, the competition side of it, right? So, I think the
Absolutely.
freestyle is probably going to be always one that's going to be the hardest, depending on the judges, how they're, you know, Nobu did good by separating people into certain categories, and that kind of, I think, helps the judges focus on one thing instead of overall every time.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's like, if you're looking at open style competitions, it's like, I think the JKA, they've been doing it for 40 years.
Yeah.
They have, you know, fucking like 4 or 3 judges surrounding that player to make sure it's clean. They have the whole 3-second rule. Like they implement those rules for a reason. And I think
I am curious how if you could, how many players do they usually have in those competitions? It's like
the JKA ones.
It depends on what the size is. They do have a lot of like mini competitions that happen throughout the year, and then they have the big ones. Yeah.
Well, I just was more or less curious if their events not being quite as large as like say some of these like American events, that would allow them to be able to do that. But like at an event like Battle at the Border, like if you're doing, especially with double elimination, like if you're running double, open needs its own day now with double elimination.
So double elimination is a new thing, and it's like more of the Western world that's kind of done it, right?
Right.
Whereas like that, and Japan's more strict. They're like, no, you lost. You're out.
I'm with them. Frankly, I've been about like, it's nice being able to have that. Like,
I like the double elim, but I don't know.
I like you can have the route back, and it's good for competition wise because every player gets more rounds that way, and you have less people feeling frustrated that they paid money or came all that way to jump on stage for 30 seconds and get 3-0'd.
Yep.
And like, I think that's the biggest benefit for it.
Yeah, totally.
And it does allow the chance that like maybe someone can come win 2 games in a row in the finals.
That's the nature of the beast that we call kendama, though.
Yeah.
It's like you just have on days, you have off days. Sometimes you're just gonna, for some odd reason, it's like airplane won't go in. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't one-turn airplane.
Yeah, man. That's the way she goes.
Yeah.
See, like open, like you can tell by like when people play, like open, it's not as fun to do, but arguably more satisfying than freestyle, if that makes sense.
You're practicing tricks, you're grinding tricks for a long time, these set amount of tricks. So it's like when you accomplish your goal, it's like, fuck yeah, like I did that. All that work, that commitment paid off.
For me, it's an open when like they just hit a trick and you have to match or something.
Okay,
that like feeling of like I have like that satisfaction of matching a trick is almost more than any trick I felt from like a freestyle, because freestyle is so like dot, like you don't really have time to like not comprehend, but just like
stop and
acknowledge like what trick like you were able to do.
You're just trying to spam out as many tricks as you can, kind of thing.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that's where we differentiate, my friend.
That's how I've always done freestyle. It's just like
I can't help myself.
Yeah.
But that is definitely a cool thing. I think that is really awesome for the audience as well, because the fucking crowd erupts when a trick gets matched, especially when it goes back, back and forth. When the trick, everyone does it the 3 times, and it's like, all right, that trick's done. Like, you guys fucking are insane.
It's so weird now too. It's like, so when freestyle was first getting big, it felt like the crowds were always like loudest for freestyle.
Yeah, for sure.
I could be wrong about this, but I swear I'm almost noticing like a switch back to where like I've noticed this with Nick Gallagher. Like Nick Gallagher, you listen to the crowd when Nick's going, not unless he does like some crazy like quad stilt flip like he did on me. I'm still mad about it, but like unless he does something like that, like it's not like people are like cheering, and he's a victim of his own success because people just expect that from him. Like if you were to take the tricks that Nick does and put them in another person, people are gonna be losing their mind.
100%.
And so, and then like for finals for open, like everybody's sitting there like about to like burst with anticipation when someone's got to go match a trick. And I don't know if that's just me who's thought that, but I feel like I've almost noticed a switch back to open.
That's interesting.
On height, but I could very well be wrong. So.
My thing has always been that like, I think freestyle has just been more because it's a surprise every time. When you go to an open thing, you know what you're going to see. You know, you know what tricks are going to happen, and that's it kind of thing. And not that that's not exciting, but freestyle, there's just always some element that like there could be some new Bonds could come out and fucking do some crazy shit that he's never done before.
Right. Always hiding something.
Or some shit, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and like, they're just so vastly different competition styles. And how to go about them are so vastly different. Like for open, I like to puff a few before for open. Freestyle, few cold ones. Freestyle, and then you're more relaxed and you can think more on your feet a little bit. It's all about how like the speed of how you can think and how you can react. But for open, I like being able to like zone out and like only focus on what's in front of me.
Yeah, move slow and take your time.
It's all about finding what works for you, really.
That's definitely a big thing. Yeah. Finding what
it all comes with experience.
Yeah, shoes on or shoes off.
Try them both out to see what feels best. All right, dudes, we've been grinding for a long time. It's time for our Q&A from the Patreons. Everyone that supports, thank you so much. There's been a burst of new people supporting on the Kendertainment Patreon page. Thank you guys so much. If you jump on the $5 tier and higher, you get locked down some questions for our guests. And Fish, we have a few good ones for you. from some great people. Since we're talking about the competitions and freestyle, Max Ida asks, how do you feel about MCs telling you how to play and where to face on stage?
Okay, yes.
I knew Max was going to bring this up.
I
knew
felt
Max was gonna bring it
bad because I feel like I definitely, like, I had just tried qualifying, and that was like right in my mind.
Yeah.
And so I know I probably came off like a dick. I know I did. And I hope I didn't, because I love Max. He's always been such an, and like all I was trying to say was just like, I get it. Like, you have your job to do, and I get it. But like, I have mine, and I don't have a problem with you telling me how to, like, if something I can help you out.
Yeah.
Just not while I'm in the middle of playing.
Right.
Like, just not when I'm in the middle of my qualifier. And like, I said the same thing to Nope. I had to, like, you guys posted it on your Instagram.
Yeah.
How, like,
I feel like Nobu was really in your face, while you were playing.
And I could hear him, and while Bonds was going the next round, I looked at Yuka and I was like, tell him to stop. Like, I am up here for one reason, and is to make sure those 5 people that I'm facing see my kendama. Like, I get it's a crowd thing, but for qualifying, it's those 5 people are the only people I care about in the slightest, seeing what I do. And that's just kind of one of those things where I guess, like, knowing how to work knowing those things from the past help. Yeah.
And definitely we've seen, in the past with Catch and Flow, where it is about the audience and they can push the judges away. Luckily, last year they had the judges closer, so you could see a little more. But
but they're at a weird angle. That's something that I was gonna say, you can almost attribute that to the venue.
Wrong. Like, I was definitely not doing enough, but like all I was worried about was qualifying, because I had noticed watching other people go during the day that, like, the judges on the end were like craning their neck to like make sure they could see it, and I was like, that's not gonna happen to me. Like,
yep.
I see.
They're gonna see everything I do. All right, well, there you go. Another one. Let's go. Max actually asked 2 questions. This one should be quick. Off the kendama topic, what's a good meal that you've eaten recently?
Good meal, or like one I've made? I make a mean breakfast sandwich.
Do you put sauce on it?
No.
No.
Is it
sauce.
a fish sandwich?
I make spicy sausage patties, scrambled eggs, breakfast potatoes. I make a mean breakfast.
I'm surprised you even put that much in it. This kid is the pickiest eater you will ever meet.
Oh, no shit.
Motherfucker goes to a burger joint. It's like, can I get a burger, no sauce?
Yeah,
just like a patty on a bun.
I am the pickiest eater any of you all will ever meet. I don't eat pizza. Like, so next time any of y'all,
whoa,
that's always when I get a lot of response for.
Man, do you not like ice cream?
I love ice cream, but it's like a texture thing. Like, sauces are like
okay.
Solids or liquids. Like, ice cream, I know it's a solid. Like, I know, like, it's something when I was a kid.
If it gets warm, what about warm ice cream?
Does your mind just like die when you try to eat cereal?
No, it's just like, it's weird. I can't defend this. Like, I'm extremely odd. Like, Rod hit it right on the head. Like, I'm an extremely odd.
You're hilarious to travel in Japan of all places with.
Dude, I get beef ramen almost every single.
I know, buddy. I'm always ordering for you, remember?
Next question. Next question. Nick Dodenhoff asks, on KenCo, you got the phrase, not even stoked, thrown at you famously. How has your mentality towards self-celebration changed since then?
Oh, I remember that, actually. So what he's talking about is at the end of the KenCo RMR edit, me, Dan Robinson, Grant Ingersoll, and Max Martin, I believe his name. Max is one of Bonds' local homies. And we were at his apartment complex, just kind of like hanging out, waiting to meet up with everybody else. And we were just hag as all hell from that night before. Like, if I've ever told anyone the story of like Bonds' dad's cabin, like that was the night before. So we were just hag as hell. And I just filmed that trick, and like it had been taking me like longer than I had thought, and I was just hungover, and I just was just not happy. I spiked it, and I was like, I can sit down now, thank God. Like that was like my reaction, not like sweet. It was like, like I was just like and I literally just sit down on a bench right after it. And so if that's changed, yeah, I guess I'm not as like I'm more laid back with it now than I was, I should say.
When you celebrate,
I was more focused on just being the best I could be and not really on enjoying it.
Yeah.
And now I definitely enjoy it more. But I don't really enjoy filming ever. But like I do. it has changed a bit for kendama.
Nice. And then the question continues. It says, do you think it matters how much you celebrate and why? So you kind of mentioned a little bit. Not when you film. Competition is better for you to celebrate.
Yeah,
that's when you feel it more.
For celebrations, I feel like that's just kind of each in the individual person. Like that's for me personally. Like celebrations, you only see like a genuine if it's like that kind of a moment. It's got to be like an in the moment thing. Like if like I spike something and the crowd gets really loud, then I might do like one of those situations, like a pump up thing. But that's like an in the moment thing. But like I've never been super big on like crazy exuberant celebrations because that doesn't really feel genuine either.
Yeah. Give it a little Fukushima like on camera, like
the Tiger Woods fist.
Like,
Tiger Woods. Yeah.
Like I just
like I think swing it so hard it lifts you up a little bit.
I think there's a happy medium that can be found for sure.
Sweet. Last question from Patreon. Haley Bischoff asks, so many, we kind of touched upon so many, but I'm sure there's more. The question is, favorite Japan memory?
Oh, God.
There's probably
you haven't said yet.
Yeah, that you haven't mentioned yet. Favorite.
See, Rod, I know I've
maybe it doesn't have to just include you, but something that you witnessed. Yeah, your favorite.
All of these events like that we've been on, like I'm not a huge picture taker, like just not like when something happens, I'm not whip my phone out like let me take a picture. I'm just like, oh, that's funny. Like let's get started. Like let's talk about it. Like that.
I feel you.
But because of that, like all of these events in my head are one gigantic event until somebody mentions something specific, and then it just comes rushing back like a train, and you're like, oh my God, that did happen like that. Like it's hard, but my favorite memory I would have to say is probably my first night in Japan in Osaka, pulled an all-nighter and just to kind of get over the jet lag, and me and the co-crew and Wyatt and I believe we went rooftop climbing at like 6 a.m. and like it was just a quick introduction to the Japan life. Like it was perfect. Like that's probably my favorite.
Rooftop climbing / the Japan life.
Right.
It was tight.
Yeah, that's turned into something that a lot of the players do when they hang out at, what is it, like the Smile Hotel, Happy Hotel?
The Smile in the Sakusa?
I think there's a few. Yeah, it's a Sakusa. There's a few. It's a chain hotel.
You're the one that we got banned from.
Oh yeah. So
kendama players aren't allowed there.
Oh, that one.
That's the one where the fucking KUSA guys climbed when Dave climbed the lightning rod and put a fucking.
Oh my God! Yeah.
At the top.
That was a Smile Hotel.
Or no, I don't know what it was called. It was really close to the Osaka or Shin Osaka station.
Was it like a big like chain hotel place, not just a hostel?
I think so. No, it was like a weird spot. You had to like take an elevator, and it was
up
like on the 7th floor or some shit, and it was only that floor.
It was.
They had dude, they got so mad at us. There was like
curfew,
dude. Yeah, they had a curfew, so people were climbing, like scaling the fucking building, basically. And
because there was a stairwell that you could take, but there were these huge metal bars blocking it, and so naturally everybody just jumped it.
And just climbing.
So they didn't like us because of that. And then after KWC happens,
Gaijin Smashers.
we come
dude,
back
it gets
through
worse,
and
man.
stayed again, and this was not a good Gaijin night. I'm pretty sure Gloken cannot book group rates in any hostels in Osaka because of this.
I think you're right.
Because
God,
there were like school children there at that time. Because the first time
Dude, there was
we were there,
families and shit.
yeah, like the first time we were there, we were like the only people there, and then it was like the end of the trip, so people were acting like even crazier, and like so I woke up in my bed at whatever time it was, and I walk into like I'm not gonna say who this was, but I walk into the hallway and I look down and I see a friend of mine, and there like had been all these like wall stickers, just like wallpaper stickers.
The ones
like,
of the animals, right?
Yes.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, somebody
Yes.
took them all and put them all in sex
Like humping
positions.
each other
all the way down the
words.
whole hallway.
Yeah, and like the
Just a
words
giraffe
were
on a
not
hippo,
saying-
a whale getting it from a seal, like just fucking.
And like, I wish I could say who this was. I'm not going to. But literally, he looked at me and he just like, "What do you think?" I'm really proud of it. And I just lost it because it was at like 6. It was at like 6 in the morning. I was waking up like hag, and he's still been up from the night, like still up and like. Oh
so
my
funny.
God.
Ridiculous. Yeah, they did not like us. Sorry, Gloken.
I love you, Gloken.
Not that it was me, but
shit. Well, that is all the questions we have from Patreon. Thank you guys so much, dudes. I think we're gonna wind down and call this one an episode 3-8.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry I ramble as much as I do.
Dude, that's why we're here.
It's like I said to Wyatt, buddy, go ahead and spew, bud.
Yeah.
Dude, and the thing is, like, if we weren't like closing it down, this probably would have been able to continue to go on for like another 2 hours. Like,
I mean, we'll probably talk for another hour after this.
I can only imagine we will. I got a couple more yeebies.
Coda called me during the middle of this recording. So I said I'd call him afterwards. We'll call him together.
Perfect.
Nice.
I actually do need to find out about my KWC spot if I have one still.
Yeah, KWC coming up.
It is. It's this weekend.
This weekend
from our recording time. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be over by the time you nerds are hearing this.
Probably. But
congrats, whoever won.
Congrats. Yeah, winner.
Congrats.
First place.
What? Who said that?
Hell yeah. Yeah, shout out to all the nerds. You guys keeping it real with us, listening to all our nerd talks for all these episodes. And
hells yeah.
Stay tuned for more because, we got lots of nerd shit to drop on y'all.
Of course.
And of course, always the Patreons and everybody who isn't a Patreon. If you'd like to be a Patreon, you can hit us up on said Patreon, which is kendertainment.
Yes.
Hooking up all the shit that MJ's working on, all the dope stuff.
Thank you so much for everyone who's jumping on that. It really means a lot. It's really a great way to support. And thank you again, Fish, for coming on all of a sudden, jumping in, being a great guest for this episode.
Of course. It's my pleasure always. Shout out to all the nerds. Make sure you support your two big nerds here. They're the reason this awesome content gets out, so make sure you stay supporting them. Can't wait to see everybody soon. I hope it's sooner rather than later.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And on that note,
Chrome Kendamas. Shout out to TK.
On that note, I guess the nerds are out.